Pine Street Church Band, welcome to the Pine Street Church 7th Annual Good Friday Musical Meditation. It is a bit surreal, but it is a real gift to be gathered back together for the first time, believe it or not, in 3 whole years. Together just like this, in this meaningful tradition of what we call a hybrid concert worship service where the musicians of Pine Street Church perform an entire album chosen from the quote-unquote secular ranks. This year's album is Johnny Cash's American 4, When the Man Comes Around, just in case you didn't know yet. The last album released during his lifetime, and the songs on the album are mostly cover songs that Johnny curated to reflect his life, a kind of musical memoir that signified his musical end, in some ways his physical end. Tonight there will be some short meditations that connect the music and lyrics through a lens of the story of the season, the Passiontide in our tradition, and the sacred occasion of Good Friday. It is especially apt for someone called by some God's lonely man, and certainly the man in black. The one who sang, I wear the black for the poor and the beaten down, including those who have never read or listened to the words that Jesus said. So it's true tonight that Johnny Cash sang about saints and sinners all mixed up together. His music fuses his full humanity, his complex spirit, and his faith. His soul was a battlefield of light and dark, drugs and sobriety, rage and peace, country star and Christian rocker and rebel. We hope that tonight is a meaningful experience for you, a time to take in the spiritual medicine of music, to reflect, to be inspired, and maybe even to find a little bit of hope to help you on the way. If you are led to make a donation tonight, everything is free, of course, but you can do so by dropping a gift in the offering box in the back. It goes to the benefit of Preschool here, off Broadway Preschool of Fine Arts, little 3 to 5-year-old souls who run around here Mondays through Fridays. Every dollar will go to support the school. And please be sure to also, if you haven't already, pick up a program with a little gift tied to it, a guitar pick. You're welcome to the guitarist in the room, or not. I don't know. I don't know what kind of quality we're talking about here, but anyway. Well, finally tonight, singing and playing the part of John R. Cash is our very own director of worship and arts here at Pine Street Church, David Woohoo! Thank you, David, for all that you have done, seen and unseen, and for the whole band tonight. We're so grateful. Thank you for leading the way. And now, my friends, without further ado, this is Johnny Cash's American 4, When the Man Comes Around.
And I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse.
There's a man going round taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same. There'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the man comes around. The hairs on your arm will stand up at the terror in each sip and in each sup? Will you partake of that last offered cup, or disappear into the potter's ground when the man comes around? Hear the trumpets, hear the pipers, 100 million angels singing. Multitudes are marching to the big kettle drum. Voices calling, voices crying. Some are born and some are dying. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come, and the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. The virgins are all trimming their wicks. The whirlwind is in the thorn tree. It's hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Till Armageddon, no shalom, no shalom. Then the father hen will call his chickens home. The wise men will bow down before the throne, and at his feet they'll cast their golden crowns. When the man comes around, whoever is unjust, let him be unjust still. Whoever is righteous, let him be righteous still. Whoever is filthy, let him be filthy still. Listen to the words long written down. When the man comes around, hear the trumpets, hear the pipers, 100 million angels singing. Multitudes are marching to the big kettle drum. Voices calling, voices crying. Some are born and some are dying. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come, and the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. The virgins are all trimming their wicks. The whirlwind is in the thorn tree. It's hard for thee to kick against the pricks. In measured hundredweight and penny pound, the man comes around.
Johnny Cash someone is listening at all, I hope they're listening to that song. And one that may be the most haunting and memorable. The track Hurt is truly the culmination of the darker themes of grief and regret in Johnny's life. A spiritual reflection at the end of his life in one song with an undeniable emphasis on death. And a light, dim though it may be, that shines in the darkness. A kind of darkness that lets the light be seen. A light that he found in his faith. And a light that he found in his son, John, and his wife, June, and his daughter, Roseanne, too. The song is Hurt, full of memories, feelings of suffering, despair, regret, guilt, empathy, religion, and death. The song was originally recorded in 1994 by 9 Inch Nails. The video of the song drew on imagery from the Last Supper and the crucifixion of Jesus. It confronts fears of dying and the idea of passing on a legacy. It is an unflinching look into the unknown.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole, the old familiar sting. Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. You could have it all, my empire of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you hurt. I wear this crown of thorns upon my liar's chair, full of broken thoughts I cannot repair. Beneath the stings of time, the feelings disappear. You are someone else. I am still right here. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. You could have it all, my Thank you. I found him by the railroad track this morning. I could see that he was nearly dead. I knelt down beside him and I listened just to hear the words the dying fella said. He said, they let me out of prison down in Frisco. For 10 long years I've paid for what I've done. I was trying to get back to Louisiana to see my Rose and get to know my son. Give my love to Rose, please won't you, mister? Take her all my money and tell her to buy some pretty clothes. Tell my boy his daddy's so proud of him. And don't forget to give my love to Rose. Tell them I said thanks for waiting for me. Tell my boy to help his mom at home. Tell my Rose to try and find another, for it ain't right that she should live alone. Mister, here's a bag with all my money. It won't last them long, that's the way it goes. God bless you for finding me on this morning. And don't forget to give my love to Rose. Give my love to Rose, please won't you, mister? Take her all my money, tell her to buy some pretty clothes. Tell my boy his daddy's so proud of him. And don't forget to give my love to Rose.
If someone were to ask you, what is saving your life right now? What are some possible answers? You might think of the person in your life who is easiest for you to love. Or maybe a person who supported you through dark nights of the soul. Those dark nights of the soul kind of souls. Johnny had a way of looking at himself in the mirror at the end of his life to get really honest with himself and to say what was true from his own soul. He did so with Paul Simon's song, Bridge Over Troubled Water, a song inspired by a single line from a gospel song. Paul Simon called it his little hymn. And Johnny answered that question, what's saving my life, by this, according to LaSalle scholar Amy Bonzel. She writes, he had endured and created a great deal of suffering in his life, but there was one person who was his constant supporter, June Carter. She had become his support system from the moment they began a relationship. Cash had admitted his mistakes, even his betrayal of June. But Cash's negative habits faded and his devotion deepened. In his later years, he said this, June said she knew me, knew the kernel of me, deep inside, beneath the drugs and deceit and despair and anger and selfishness. She knew my loneliness. And she said she could help me. She said we were soulmates, she and I, and that she would fight for me with all her might, however she could. Cash viewed June as his savior from sadness, a kind of redeemer from suffering, a giver of guidance and wisdom. And in this light, Johnny Cash clearly had June in mind when recording the song Bridge Over Troubled Water, perhaps a kind of musical and poetic response to what was saving his life right now.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay me down. Like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay me down. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. Like a bridge over sail on, silver curl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. Oh, if you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down.
So much of Johnny Cash's music was a kind of chronicle to outlaws, people who had done wrong. It has been said, pain that is not transformed is transmitted. Johnny lived both the hard truth and the recovery of this. He understood what it was like to suffer, to struggle, and he carried that sense of empathy toward those on the margins of society. He is most often remembered as the Man in Black. The song of the same name was released in 1971, and Johnny adopted this persona. He dressed to mourn the poor, the beaten down, the hungry, the prisoners, the sick, the lonely, the old, the reckless drug users, and Vietnam War dead. He was viewed as an activist, a voice for the underdog, and a speaker for the misrepresented. Someone who knew what it was like to peer into the abyss. Someone who could pray, "Forgive me, forgive them."
Early one morning, with time to kill, I borrowed Jeb's rifle and sat on the hill. I saw a lone rider crossing the plain. I drew a bead on him to practice my aim. My brother's rifle went off in my hand. A shot rang out across the land. The horse, he kept running, the rider was dead. I hung my head, I hung my head. I set off running to wake from the dream. My brother's rifle went into the sheen. I kept on running into the Southlands. That's where they found me, my head in my hands. The sheriff, he asked me, why had I run? And then it came to me, just what I had done. And all for no reason, just one piece of lead. I hung my head, I hung my head. Here in the courthouse, the whole town was there. I see the judge high up in his chair, explain to the courtroom what went through your mind, and we'll ask the jury what verdict they find. I felt the power of death over life. I orphaned his children, I had widowed his wife. I begged their forgiveness, I wish I was dead. I hung my head, I hung my head, I hung my head, I hung my head. Early one morning, with time to kill, I see the gallows up on the hill, and out in the distance, a trick of the brain, I see a lone rider crossing the plain. He's come to fetch me to see what they done, and we'll ride together till kingdom come. I pray for God's mercy, for soon I'll be dead. I hung my head, I hung my head, I hung my head, I hung my head. Thank you. The first time ever I saw your face, I thought the sun rose in your eyes, and the moon and stars were the gifts you gave to the dark and the endless sky, my love. And the first time ever I kissed your mouth, I felt the earth move through my hands, like the trembling heart of a captive bird. That was there at my command. the first time ever I laid with you. I felt your heart so close to mine, and I know our joy would fill the earth. And last till the end of time, my love, the first time ever I saw your
There's chairs for us, but
The two most personal loves of Johnny's life were June Carter and Jesus Christ. Johnny was especially interested when June said her father loved to read about history and religion. Eventually, that first night, Johnny Cash leaned over and tried to kiss June, but she resisted. Their budding musical and then romantic relationship sparked Johnny Cash, though, with a newfound passion. And that song, First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, was a nod to the early days in their relationship, a testament to their long-withstanding love. It's a personal love that extended to his faith, too, especially in the song Personal Jesus. It's where do you find your comfort, your counsel, he told NPR. Your shoulder to lean on, your hand to hold, your personal Jesus. The great poet Pablo Neruda once wrote, "Give me for my life all lives. Give me all the pain of everyone. I'm going to turn it into hope." That hope was found in June and in his personal Jesus.
Your own personal Jesus. Someone to hear your prayers, someone who cares. Your own personal Jesus. Someone to hear your prayers, someone who's there. Feeling unknown and you're all alone, flesh and bone by the telephone. Lift up the receiver, I'll make you a believer. Take second best, put me to the test. Things on your chest, you need to confess. I will deliver, you know I'm a forgiver. Reach out and touch faith. Reach out and touch faith. your own personal Jesus. Someone to hear your prayers, someone who cares. Your own personal Jesus. Someone to hear your prayers, someone who cares. Feeling unknown and you're all alone, flesh and bone by the telephone. Lift up the receiver, I'll make you a believer. I will deliver, you know I'm a forgiver. Reach out and touch faith. Reach out and touch faith. Reach out and touch faith. Reach out and touch faith.
Johnny's family members were pivotal in his life, finding solace and healing even in times when he wore his own crown of thorns. The guilt he carried through his life. In My Life, which was recorded by the Beatles in 1965, and is all-encompassing as it speaks to a wide range of people encountered in his life. The song is slowed down considerably by Cash as he opens with lyrics that signify this is a song of remembrance. There are places I remember. All my life, though some have changed. Some forever, not for better. He remembers, putting back the fragments of scenes and stories and places and people, like being on a fast-moving train and watching scenes go by, surrounded by tenderness, held by love.
There are places I'll remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places have their moments. With lovers and friends, I still can't recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I loved them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you. These memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll stop and think about them. In my life, I loved you more. In my life, I loved you more.
American 4, When the Man Comes Around, reads like a final account of Johnny's life, a final reflection, a farewell discourse, a preparation for death, a desperado brother coming home to himself, coming home to the God he knew and the God who he loved. Even Danny Boy, connected to Irish traditions and used at funerals and in his own Man in Black way, to be able to face death squarely and say, I'm ready.
Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses fallen. It's you must go, and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But if you come and all the flowers are dying, and I am dead, as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me, and I will know, though soft you tread above me, and then my grave will richer, sweeter be, and you'll bend down and tell me that you love me, and I will rest in peace until you come to me. Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences for so long now. You're a hard one, but I know that you've got your reasons. These things that are pleasing you can hurt you somehow. Don't you draw the queen of diamonds, boy. She'll beat you if she's able. You know the queen of hearts is always your best bet. Now it seems to me some fine things have been laid upon your table, but you only want the things that you can't get. Desperado, oh, you ain't getting no younger. Your pain and your hunger, they're driving you home. Freedom, oh freedom, that's some people talking. Your prison is walking through this world all alone. And don't your feet get cold in the wintertime? The sky won't snow and the sun won't shine. It's hard to tell the nighttime from the day. You're losing all your highs and lows. Ain't it funny how the feeling goes away? Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Come down from your fences and open the gate. It may be raining, but there's rainbow above you. You better let somebody love you. You better let somebody love you. You better let somebody love you before it's too late. Hear that lonesome whippoorwill. He sounds too blue to fly. The midnight train is whining low. I'm so lonesome I could cry. I've never seen a night so long when time goes crawling by. The moon just went behind a cloud to hide its face and cry. Did you ever see a robin weep when leaves begin to die? That means he's lost the will to live. I'm so lonesome I could cry. The silence of a fallen star lights up a purple sky. As I wonder where you are, I'm so lonesome I could cry. I'm so lonesome I could cry.
According to the Pulse magazine of Chattanooga, Tennessee, in 1967, a man stumbled into Nickajack Cave. He was a man who had made his name rambling around, playing a flat-top box and singing about trains and guns and prisons. He parked his old Jeep on the side of the road and staggered through thorns and brush down to the mouth of Nickajack Cave. He walked into the darkness of that cave until he could walk no more. He then went to his hands and knees and crawled until he couldn't crawl anymore, like a sick animal looking for somewhere to die. And yet it was here that he had his very own personal resurrection event. Guilt had taken him over. He ate pills and drank whiskey and had given up on himself. He wanted God to put him wherever God puts people like me, he wrote. That song, I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry, he ironically sang with Nick Cave, a place of darkness that he echoed in his experience at Nickajack Cave in Tennessee. Passing through that cave, representing a change of state, a re-entry into the womb or a tomb, and that re-emergence, that spiritual enlightenment. He finally said, there in Nickajack Cave, I became conscious of a very clear, simple idea. I was not in charge of my destiny. I was not going to be in charge of my own death. I was going to die at God's time, not mine. The man in black then raised his head. He started to move. He had no idea how to get back out of the cave, but he crawled in whatever direction he could find, feeling before himself with his hands. And finally, he felt wind on his back, and he turned around and followed that wind until he saw the light. When he came out of the darkness of that cave, standing there was June Carter, the mouth of Nickajack Cave, with a basket of food, and she gave him something to drink. She held his arm, and Johnny told her that God had saved him in that cave. the place he went to die, and yet the place he found new life. Maybe this is why he can sing so clearly and dearly of the departed, someone who had nearly departed some 35 years before he recorded this album. Who can stand and sing with this kind of conviction and knowing that somehow there is redemption, even for someone like him, as he put it? A kind of story that, in the words of poet Mary Oliver, will break our hearts open, never to close again to the rest of the world.
As I walked out on the streets of Laredo, as I walked out on Laredo one day, I spied a young cowboy all wrapped in white linen, wrapped in white linen as cold as a clay. I can see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. These words he did say as I boldly walked by. Come sit down beside me and hear my sad story. I'm shot in the breast and I know I must die. It was once in the saddle I used to go dashing. Once in the saddle I used to go gay. First to the card house and then down to Roses. But I'm shot in the breast and I'm dying today. Get 6 jolly cowboys to carry my coffin, 6 dance hall maidens to bear up my pall, throw bunches of roses all over my coffin, roses to deaden the clods as they fall. Then beat the drum slowly, play the fife lowly, play the dead march as you carry me along. Take me to the green valley and lay the sod o'er me. I'm a young cowboy and I know I've done wrong. Then go write a letter to my gray-haired mother and tell her the cowboy that she loved is gone. But please not one word of the man who had killed me. Don't mention his name, and his name will pass on. When this he had spoken, the hot sun was setting. The streets of Laredo grew cold as the clay. We took the young cowboy down to the green valley, and there stands his marker we made to this day. We beat the drum slowly, play the fife lowly, play the dead march as we carried him along. Down in the green valley, lay the sod o'er him. He was a young cowboy and he said he'd done wrong.
Thanks to all of you for joining us tonight for Johnny Cash's American Four, When the Man Comes Around. Again, on behalf of Pine Street Church, thank you for joining us. Those of you joining us online, thank you. And thank you for your gifts to support our off-Broadway Preschool Scholarship Fund tonight. Thank you for joining us, too, for the story of God's lonely man. The man in black singing so much out of his own longing and out of his own sorrow. Someone who himself was a man of sorrows. According to the old musical formula, National Review began, if you want to be a master bluesman, you sell your soul to the devil. Or you can sign on with God and play country. Johnny Cash took the latter path, and it's safe to say he did pretty well with his bargain. And like him or not, I think we find in John R. Cash spiritual seriousness and gospel good news, a redemption story, pain that was transformed. And so now we say farewell. In fact, Johnny had designed the last track of American 4 as a farewell, a group sing-along version of We'll Meet Again, and a fitting way to close our Good Friday musical meditation. Farewell, friends, until we meet again.
We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. We're not going to make you listen to the entire song. I want to give a little thanks right now, offer up a little gratitude. There's a lot of it to be had. Firstly, without every one of you out there tonight and folks tuning in via the live stream, we would just be playing to a bunch of crickets, which doesn't make any sense. So firstly, thank you to each and every one of you for being here. It's meaningful to the deepest, most bottom part of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There are a few people back there. Alexi, thank you for running the live stream. I know a lot of people weren't able to be here, and so they were able to be with us in spirit and via fiber optic cable and the whatnot. Andrew, thank you for a beautifully narrated, guided experience. Yes. Weeks and upon weeks of learning this music, practicing it, that's the moment when it all comes together and we get to hear the story behind the story. So thank you, Andrew. Barry on the organ, sitting up here up front. Thank you so much. Oh, Danny boy. Thank you. Bill Mencken on the amazing Book of Revelation on a 1950s radio microphone with vinyl scratches in the background is what was happening at the beginning, if you didn't catch that. Bill, you have a future in the voiceover business, I think, my friend, so let's talk afterwards. The musicians here, Carmen Sandim on piano, thank you so much. Not just piano, but glockenspiel and handbell. We asked her to broaden her horizons this evening, and she did. Thank you so much. Our strings, thank you so much. Allegra Ludwig on violin, Ryan Drickey on violin and viola. They really brought this stuff to life. To my right, your left, a man of many instruments. Quite the array up here on stage. I always love it when he starts bringing these into the building. Justin Hoffenberg on guitar, tenor resonator guitar, and he's the one who somehow has a microphone from the 1950s, so thank you, Justin. Finally, the person who could not do any of this without up here, on cello with the strings, on upright bass, keeping the bass down, figuring out how to connect Wi-Fi to the sound system and playing things all over the place, running the sound, putting everything together, writing the string arrangements himself, Phil Norman, thank you. And I'd like to invite all of you to stand up and let's sing this together. My name is David Lomdieu. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. One more time for posterity. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Thank you. Go in peace. Thank you.
You didn't practice the curtain call.